also say is it's quite a good idea to have a routine that when your dog is up and excited, that you also have a way of bringing them back down again. So you'll notice that I'm fairly frequently popping some food into Todd, because if he gets up and up and up and up, he's going to find it really difficult to do the things that I ask. So it makes sense to take him up, but then also bring him down again as well. So we move from being able to drop the toy to then being able to maybe throw the toy out, okay? Now, to start with, all we're going to ask for is whatever behaviour we had. Okay, get it? Good boy, super. Do the thing. Take him. But then what we're going to start doing is we're going to start saying, do you know different behaviours and can you offer those in the presence of that toy? So what I would do to start with, thank you, I would ask, he knows those things. He knows those things with no distraction of the toy. Now, I always think it's fair to ask dogs about this before we just assume that they can do things. Okay, so always check out the distraction first. But now, if I ask him, sit. if he can hold that position, lie down. Okay, get it, good job. So it's harder today because it's all very exciting with new toys. But as you can see, we understand the basic premise. So what we're doing is we're just growing that understanding. Now, one of the most impressive and fun things that he likes to demonstrate is how he can listen even without looking at me. Now for this, I think this is really important because when you call your dog and you want them to come back, when do you want to do that? Normally, because they've spotted something in the environment. So they're not looking at you at this point, right? And the trouble is that lots of us will teach cues by, oh, you've got that one again. Can I have that one? I know, it is your favourite. It is. Thanks. I think we're taking him back to puppyhood. He had one like this as a puppy and he's like, wow, this is brilliant. So when we are looking to teach our dogs things, it makes sense that it's just on verbal cue alone and it's not on a physical cue. Because if it's on a physical cue, shall I pop that one out of the way? Thank you. If it's on a physical cue, then my dog needs to be looking at me. But if it's on a verbal cue, then actually my dog is going to be able to respond regardless. So to start with, I ask the same question. I pop the food out, and I check that he can hold position without moving. That's brilliant. Thank you. Lie down. Good boy. Super. And what I'm looking for here is, can he respond to the verbal cues? Okay. Without needing to look at me. All right. Now, if he needs to look at me, as I say, recall becomes a bit harder. If he's staring at something in the distance, he's not even registering like there, is he? But with something like that, then we can see that he's very much focused on that. Sit. Lie down. Okay. But he's not relying on looking at me for direction, alright? He's listening to what I'm asking him to do. Now, you know, he's a Border Collie, and as he's demonstrated, he likes toys. So food is not the biggest distraction in this. At the moment, the big fluffy toy is the biggest distraction. But one of the things that I would look to do is go through that same process with a toy. So asking him, can he hold position, but also can I come behind? Lie down, good boy. Sit. Okay, get it. Super. So can you do those same things? Can you look in that direction, but still keep your ears open? It's really important, guys, because otherwise, as I say, it could be a real problem in the real world. So, let's assume that our dogs have kind of gone through that process. And yep, they can answer that question, yes, they can answer that question, etc., etc. Now, I would normally start this next one with a bit more space. He knows those things. He knows those things with no distraction of the toy. Now, I always think it's fair to ask dogs about this before we just assume that they can do things. Okay, so always check out the distraction first. But now, if I ask him, sit. If he can hold that position, lie down. Okay, get it, good job. So it's harder today because it's all very exciting with new toys. But as you can see, we understand the basic most impressive and fun things that he likes to demonstrate is how he can listen even without looking at me. Now to this, I think this is really important because when you call your dog and you want them to come back, when do you want to do that? Normally, because they just spotted something in the environment. So they're not looking at you at this point, right? And the trouble is that lots of us will teach cues by, oh, you've got that one again. Can I have that one? I know, it is your favourite. It is. Thanks. I think we're taking him back to puppyhood. He had one like this as a puppy and he's like, wow, this is rude. So when we are looking to teach our dogs things, it makes sense that it's just on verbal cue alone and it's not on a physical cue. Because if it's on a physical cue, shall I pop that one out of the way? Thank you. If it's on a physical cue, then my dog needs to be looking at me. But if it's on a verbal cue, then actually my dog is going to be able to respond regardless. So to start with, I ask the same question. I pop the food out and I check that he can hold position without moving. That's brilliant. Thank you. Lie down. Good. Always super. And what I'm looking for here is, can he respond to the verbal cues? Okay. Without needing to look at me. All right. Now, if he needs to look at me, as I say, recall becomes a bit harder. If he's staring at something in the distance, he's not even registering I'm there, is he? But with something like that, then we can see that he's very much focused on that. Sit. Like that. Okay. But he's not relying on looking at me for direction, alright? He's listening to what I'm asking him to do. Now, you know, he's a Border Collie, and as he's demonstrated, he likes toys. So food is not the biggest distraction in this. At the moment, the big fluffy toy is the biggest distraction. But one of the things that I would look to do is go through that same process with a toy. So asking him, can he hold position, but also can I come behind? Lie down, good boy. Sit. Okay, get it. Super. So can you do those same things? Can you look in that direction but still keep your ears open? It's really important, guys, because otherwise, as I say, it could be a real problem in the real world. So, let's assume that our dogs have kind of gone through that process and, yep, they can answer that question, yes, they can answer that question, etc., etc. Now, I would normally start this next one with a bit more space. If you want to on that first. Mostly likes toys? Yep, okay. So, out of these kind of toys, what sort of toys do you use out of interest? What in a long toy? Yeah, that one. You've got one of all of them. Got one of all of them. I like it. This is good. These are your people, Danny. Yeah. Guys, what sort of toys do you guys use? Soft toys? Yeah. Similar? Yeah. Okay. So, when it comes to playing... Sorry, guys. I'm losing it. One of the things with soft toys particularly is that it can be a little bit difficult to play tuggy with them. And again, it depends if your dog likes tuggy or not. But one of the things that I should say, this toy here is an old tug enough toy. So this is probably about as old as he is. It's about 9 years old. And this toy is still going. Whereas, my mum has a little spaniel, and honestly, she's been to Pets at Home, she's been to, all of the different pet shops. And you know what? They rip, they shred, and then they're gone. And you felt like you spent a lot of money. These sorts of toys are not toys that are with my dogs all of the time. These are toys that come out and just play in training. But as you can see, that's a 9-year-old toy. It's got a little bit of chew damage from where they've been sort of mounting. But that's pretty impressive, isn't it? When you see how strongly they tug it. Yeah? Okay. So, in terms of any problems people have with their toy play at the moment, has anybody got any issues, or do you just find that it's something you do with your dogs, but maybe... What that tells me about that dog is that possession is very important. Because guess what? If your mouth gets closer and closer to the hand, that person's likely to go, oh, you have it, because they're worried about being bitten. So, one of the things to look for is your dog really enjoying the tugging, or do they just want to pull it out of your hand in order to be able to Vodka, one of my dogs, really loves this game. So I will hold on to her, I will throw out the toy, get it! And she loves that being held back and then getting to run out after it. That for her, I don't know why, really fun game. Kai, my first male Border Collie, we would be playing Toddy. He was a bit of a bigger dog than Todd. And we'd be playing Toddy and I would let go and I'd be, oh my gosh, you're running, you're so strong! You're so strong! And yeah, I know. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm knocking the furniture over. Sorry. Right, give me a second. So, they have different reasons for why they like playing. And if you can figure out for them why they like playing, then you're likely to get a really strong retrieval. Okay? Now, these are all toys, obviously, that we've been... This is quite a common problem with dogs that like toys, that they will also like other things as well. Alright, so maybe, I don't know, TV remote controls, glasses cases, slippers, you know, those things that they're expensive and you're like, ah! You know, I need to come and get them. So, one of the things that can be really helpful to do is to really teach them a strong retrieve, okay? So, Todd, should we tidy up? Could you get me a thing? Can you bring me? Thank you. Oh dear. Thank you. That's very helpful. Very helpful. Go bring me a thing. Super! Thank you. Frankly, I think we should teach all dogs to do the tidy up game. Right, can you bring me that one? And children. And children, yes, absolutely. Alright. So, as you can see, he's really got a very good retrieve going on in terms of being able to bring things back. But you notice there, whilst he's obviously loves playing Toddy, it's not appropriate if he's got something delicate in his mouth to come in and be like, you know, around it in his mouth, because he's going to break it. So we have actually two verbal cues that we use. One is get it, and get it means that he can be as excited as he likes. He can shake it around, he can, you know, pretend to kill it if he thinks it's alive, he can do all of those things. But if it's something delicate, then I want him to be more delicate about bringing it back. So I give him a cue that is, we call bring me, and bring me is bring me whatever the thing is in the environment, okay? He's using it, but say it's my phone case. Oh, thank you, good boy. So what we do to start that off is we play a few rounds of retrieve something, and then I say to him, can you retrieve this as well? So this one, for example, is really difficult. He doesn't like this one, but I'm going to be a meanie and ask. Right, can you bring me? Oh, he says I don't want to. Oh, you're a good boy. I love him. He's like, I'll push it to you. I'll push it to you. Bring me. Right, you're a very good boy. Alright? So you see, he understands the principle of bring me the thing. But often metal is something that dogs don't like in their mouth, so it does take a bit of practice. It is personally, I think, quite a helpful one. If you drop your keys out on a walk, you know, it's no good having a fancy Border Collie if they can't actually do something useful, like go and find your keys when you're out and about. So we will often do things where we ask, can you go back along the path, can you find a glove, can you find a set of keys? Not because I really need him to, but because it's a job that I can give him, okay? And again, going back to that thing of play can be more useful than just run backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Does that make sense? Yeah. Alright. Has anybody got any questions for me? I love toys. So, we have some different toys, and I briefly talked at the beginning about what the different things do. Now, if you're using these kinds of toys, Todd, for those of you that were here earlier, Todd is in love with this toy. But this toy is not easy for throwing. Alright, I can get it to go about that far. I daren't throw anything else, but essentially a toy like this, I can get to go much further away. Can you get anything? Thank you. I know, very difficult that one. It is very difficult, that one. Good. Can you come in? Can you sit? Can you go? Bring me. Can you go back? like my husband when he's lost his keys. And I do find that my girl dogs find finding things much easier. Can I have that one, please? Thank you. Now, when I'm looking to reward something specific, so for example, one of the things that he loves to do with me is he loves to do agility. So when we're doing agility behaviours, it can be really helpful to have something which is off my person. Because guess what? His 4 legs run quicker than my 2 legs, okay? So being able to send him onto the toy or to be able to throw a toy in is going to be able to increase our chances of getting him to move away from it. But like I say, soft toys can be a little bit difficult to get dogs working. Now ladies, if you don't mind, I'm going to send him in into that middle hole. So one of the things that we will do in training is we try and use reinforcement in the position that we want it to happen. So yes, get a good boy. Super, bring me the there's no real incentive to go over there. Does that make sense? Yeah? So being able to throw that toy rather than have to like manually go over and give him a piece of food, because again food you can only throw so far, can be really tricky. So being able to throw something in can be useful. The other thing that it can be really good for is, if you're trying to improve behaviours, it's a good idea to use toys not only as a well done, but also as a distraction. So if I pop his toy here, and I ask him to oh, not quite. Yes, get me up there. So I can use it as both a distraction. During that playtime, he's also learning skills as well. And the reason I really believe in doing this is that when we want reliable real-world behaviours, so we want our dogs to be able, for example, let's do recall as a for example. Right. Okay, come here. Super. Oh, get me up there. Sorry, knocking into me. But you see, whilst he's on his way to something which excites him, for him, he's just playing. He's just playing, he thinks he's a clever boy, he likes being a clever boy, and that works for him. What he's doing is he's just learning to be able to listen when his arousal level is up. Alright? And truthfully, lots of people tell me, how do I calm my Border Collie down? How do I calm my Cocker Spaniel down? So far I've not found an answer to either of those questions. But what I have learned is that what you can do is you can expect them to be able to listen even when they're excited. Okay? Provided you know which buttons to press. Alright? Okay guys, how am I doing time-wise? Right. I'm going to give Tom a short break if that's okay. But if anybody wants to come over and just ask any questions, and then we'll come back in about 2 minutes once we've had a bit of a break. Alright, thank you guys. Alright, so we're going to look a little bit at gun dog play now. So yes, I have a Border Collie here, but actual fact, there are lots of games that we can be doing with our dogs that go across different disciplines. So I learned a lot of these gun dog games from my friend Jules Morgan, and at that time I didn't have a Cocker Spaniel or a Labrador to be working with. So, you know, you make do with what you've got, don't you? So one of these games was introduced to me as a retrieve game, but actually I found that it was a really good recall game. So I'm going to take you through the basic bits and show you kind of how it broke. So to begin with, we need to think about what Labradors are bred to do. So they're actually bred to go quite a long distance from their people to go and retrieve dead game. But they need to be sent out in a certain direction in order to be able to do that. So the first bit that we teach the dogs is, can they go straight out to their toy? Okay, get it? Then forward. So we start there, and depending on the dog, depends on how we're going to reward it. Okay, that's much better, thank you. Right, so we start with being able to send the dog out to one toy. And we want to make sure that we've got some retrieve pieces in place. So to start with, one of the first pieces is, can I send out the toy and my dog remain where they are? Now, assuming they can, okay, get it? I'm going to send them out. Good boy. He said, that lady does my toy, I saw. Assuming they can, that's a really good basis for this game, alright? But if you're struggling with that piece, I would probably work on that piece before I started to grow it. But assuming that you've got quite a nice retrieve going, then I would look to grow the game. Now, the thing about a Labrador is that they have to go out in the direction that you need them to go and search for the dead birds. So what we do here is we teach the dogs to go out and get the one. Thank you. So we teach them to go out to the one that we want them to go out to, as opposed to whatever toy they would like. So this is why it's important to line them up in the direction that we want to go. So I've got two toys now, and I'm going to ask Todd to go out to the first one. Now you can see at the moment he's sat, so that actually he's sort of pointing towards this one, isn't he? So I'm going to start by asking him to come in by my side and setting him up on a better direction. Okay, get it. And then, good boy. Super job. Opposite. Thank you. Wait a minute. Good. Super. So, we start with that to make sure that the dog understands to go out and get the one that we're after. And then again, going out and getting that second one. Okay, get it. Super. And then we also have quite a nice game of tidy up going on as well, which is also quite useful as well. So, the reason I love this game is because you can do it both with food and with toys. So, my gun dog trainer friends will actually start this game with bowls of food as well. So, what we do is we say, I'm going to put a bit of food over here, I'm going to put a bit of food over here, and then I'm going to ask the dog to go out and get the food, and then come back to me. So this is why, when they told me this was a retrieve game, I was like, that's not a retrieve game, that's a recall with distractions game. Because essentially, if Todd believes there's food here and food here, what's the incentive to come back to me before going straight to the next bowl, you know? But hopefully he's not going to show me up, that's fine. Too bad. Come here. Good boy. Alright, so we teach them this pattern of, we said I'll just check that one in case anybody put any more in. So we teach them this pattern of you go out, you come back, you go out, you come back. And because it's a lovely pattern, one of the things that dogs like is doing dot-to-dot puzzles, particularly if you're a Border Collie, you love dot-to-dot puzzles. And Todd demonstrated earlier that this is one of his most favourite toys in the world, didn't you? You did think this was fun. Okay, get it, nice job. And so, one of the things that can be really helpful, oh really, one of the most exciting toys in the world, can you lie down? Oh, they don't with that food, thank you. So, one of the things that can be really helpful in training is to use things that we know that the dog loves, but use them as distractions as well as rewards, alright? So, I'm going to run him through that once more. Let me just pop these back out here. So, we'll pop a bit more food in the bowl. Could you lie down? Thank you very much. So there's food there, and now there's oh, this is a good one. So stunning. So I'm going to be a real meanie, and I'm going to ask him to go and do the food first before going to his favourite thing. Okay. Super, come here. Oh, that was hard, right? Yeah, that was hard. Okay. Good boy. Super, come here. Oh, I know you're a good boy. Are you ready now? Are you steady? Okay, let go. Sit. Okay, get it. Alright? So, the nice thing about having a pattern like that is that he knows eventually it's going to work out for him, right? Alright, he's going to get the thing that he wants. What he's having to do first is he's having to do the thing that I want first, which, in the scheme of this game, you know, it's a bit of a tease and being a bit mean, but in the scheme of of real life, what that looks like is you can be off the lead. And those are, like, there's children over there. You can go and say hi to the children if I give you permission to do so, but you don't get to just run up to people and randomly scare them, alright? So, one of the things that Todd learned through play, does your young man like dogs? I don't want, okay. Todd, can you come in? Can you sit? So can you sit? Thank you. We also use something called permissions. So instead of just getting to go and say hello, he has a specific cue that gives him permission to go and do that. Can you come in? Can you sit? Okay, can you say hi? Super. That was very brief. Do you want to say hello? Good boy. Nice job, super. Alright? Now, he really quite likes children, because children tend to have things in their hands, you know, so it normally works out quite well. But, like I say, what I don't want is a dog that is going to become a nuisance and just run up to children randomly, or indeed other people in the environment as well. And obviously in a big, busy place like this, there's lots of dogs walking around, such as you might find in a busy car. What I'm looking for is his ability to listen to me regardless of how excited life gets, because that means I can take him out and he can have a bigger world as a result. Alright? Okay, so that's one little gun dog game that, as I say, my dogs quite like to play. I say they quite like to play it, I quite like to play it. Now, we've talked a little bit about retrieve this afternoon, and one of the things about retrieve that I think is really important is to do what I call stress testing it. So, Todd's demonstrated that with a toy that he quite likes, so let's say this is quite a boring toy as far as he's concerned. Okay, bring me thing. Thank you, give it a thing. Thank you. He's very capable of doing a straight retrieve. But if we take him out and about in the world and there's other things going on, there might be things to distract him from doing that. So one of the things I will say to him is, there's a bowl of food here. Can you come in? Can you go out and get your toy? Thank you so much. Oh. Now, did you notice on the previous attempt, can you come out? On the previous attempt, he put it directly into my hand because there was no food in the bowl. There's food in the bowl now. Now, he is 9 years old, so he's old enough to know, you know, if you want some of this food, you've got to put it into my hand. Do you want to do that once more? Give me a sit. Super. 3, 2, 1. Excuse you. Can I have that nice sit? Thank you. Okay, get the sit. Super. Nice job. So that was pushed very forcefully into my hand because he's very annoyed at me that I made him have to do that. Can you come around? Good boy. But as you can see, the devil's in the detail. So if I say to him, it doesn't matter if you throw it at me, or it doesn't matter if you just throw it on the floor, what I'm saying is, there are times where it doesn't matter if you don't want to do the thing that I want. Now, I don't want to be a Hitler about this at all, but what I do want is to make sure that he's safe to be off lead. Because if he's the sort of dog that will go, well, I think I'd rather do this, then that could potentially be problematic. Is that fair to say? Can you come over here? Now, we looked, can you lie down? Thank you. So, we looked earlier at different retrieve articles that we could potentially be using. So mostly people think about retrieve as just toy stuff. But I really think that dogs could potentially be a bit more useful than that. So, not to make them into helper dogs, but you know, getting them to come and bring you something that maybe you've dropped can be something that's really helpful. So, for example, something like a phone case, I will quite often drop things like my keys, things like a glove. Being able to go and retrieve those things can be really helpful too. Now, the way that he plays with this, I don't really want him to do with this, because potentially he could do some damage to a mobile phone where, you know, I don't mind about how he plays with the toy. So, we have two cues. If I wanted to go and get a toy, then it's, okay, get it, super, bring me the thing. And then, okay, get it, super. Then we can play a bit of tuggy. He says I'm a bit too excited. I do. Can you lie down? We can play a bit of tuggy, but if I wanted to go and get something which is a bit more delicate, then I'm going to use a different word. Can you bring me? And bring me just means, can we do that really nice and politely, alright? So we're not looking to do a big kill shake of this, or like, you know, throw it about in the air, alright? And essentially, essentially, if this is all play. But the reason I think play is so important is because it pushes a dog's arousal level up, which is really similar to when you're out and about and they're off lead and they're running around, their arousal level is up then. Now, what we'll sometimes do is we'll say, well, just be more exciting. So, you know, take a really fun toy like this and let's start like racing it around like this. Be more exciting than that squirrel that's in the tree. I have no desire to be more exciting than a squirrel. I think that that is a fool's errand, and I think that you will struggle with that. What I think is more helpful is to explain to our dogs that actually they can listen even though they're excited, okay? And he's not especially fussed about squirrels, but one of my other dogs loves squirrels. So if she does a nice recall for me, then she can go back to the thing that she wants to go and do, which is bark at the bottom of the tree, you know? But essentially, they learn that through play. So, try and get it? Super. So, being able to do things like, go out and get your toy. Okay, lie down. Sit. Come here. Okay, get a big. Super. That a good boy. That's a good boy. Is that more treats? Thank you. I know we've got through a lot of treats, haven't we, my darling? Good boy. Is that super? Being able to listen, even though he's really focused on something, is really valuable. Not from a play perspective, it doesn't really matter. If he gets the toy, there's no harm, no foul. But it is really important if he's running towards maybe a dog that has a yellow bandana on it that says, you know, I'm frightened of other dogs. Or maybe running up to children who are looking really worried. That's the sort of situation where I'm like, I need you to be able to listen to that, please, alright? So, yeah, play, as far as I'm concerned, so many benefits, but mostly people just aren't using it in their training quite as much as they could. Do you guys play with your dogs at home out of interest? Yeah? What sort of games do you play with your dogs? Hide and seek. I like hide and seek. Yeah. Nice. And then he has to go and find it. Perfect. Finding toys is good. Boy dog. Yeah, boy dog. Do you guys play with your dog? What sort of dog have you got? I grew up with 2 golden retrievers. I love golden retrievers. So do they like retrieving things? Yeah, absolutely. Do you do it in training at all, or is it just something you kind of do as a fun thing out on a walk? Alright, play some of these. Honestly, I love some of the gun dog games. They're good fun. What about you? Sorry, you said that you do. Border Collie and the Cocker Spaniel. There's a lot of energy in your house, yeah. Have you noticed that they like to play differently? Yeah. Do you have a nice retriever, both of them? Yeah. You know what? I love the retrieve because essentially when Todd comes back to me with something that he really loves, he's basically saying, do you know what? I trust you to like share this thing with, and that you're not going to have it taken straight off you. So it's a lovely thing to practice, isn't it, my darling? Good boy, super, nice job. Sorry, did you guys? Oh, I'm sorry. Alright, I think this young man is looking a bit hot bothered, so I'm going to let him finish up the demo. Unless anybody has any last questions they want to ask me. Alright, well thank you very much for listening. Really appreciate it. And yeah, go have some fun playing and training with your dogs. It's really, really well worthwhile.